Angelo Lambropoulos, Director of Lambros Realty, and here I am with the Cherrybrook October 2022 property market update. Looking forward to this one as I am with all the others I've done in the past. So I'll get straight into it, and then then I'll give you my opinion on and a breakdown on how things are tracking and whatnot. So let's get into it. So for the month of October, there's been 10 registered home sales. And again, just to reiterate, these are taking into account anything that 4-bedroom and plus to keep the data as accurate as possible. The median amongst those home sales, to be precise, is $2,065,944 to the dollar. Highest sale recorded was 2.3 million, and the average days on market for the month of October was sitting at 35. Now, how does this fare against October 2021? There were 16 registered home sales this time last year. The median price amongst those home sales was sitting at $2,291,500, and the highest sale was $2,850,000, with average days on market being 24. Now, just to summarize, sales volumes are consistent, only up by one in comparison to the previous month, September 2022. So things are definitely seem to have plateaued and consistent, whatnot. However, they're down by 6 in comparison to October 2021. So you could see that the market was really buzzing this time last year, which I guess goes without saying. Average days on market, just to reiterate, currently sits at 35 days as of October 2022, compared to 66 days last month, September 2022. So we just break down the current 12-month overview. So we're looking at the period of October 2021 to September 2022. Based on 152 registered sales, the median sale price sits at 2.19 with 18.2% growth total. Okay, so there's a breakdown of statistics for you. The auction results for October 2022, there were 7 registered auctions. One of those had sold at auction, 2 had sold prior, and 4 had passed in or either withdrawn, rescheduled, and not much else happened there. So the actual auction clearance rate's only 1 sold at auction, which gives us a 14% auction clearance rate here in Cherrybrook. If you're including those that sold prior, it's a 43% auction clearance rate. So clearly auctions are very much still not the way to go in the marketplace for obvious reasons, which I'll get to when I summarize things as part of my general observations at the end. So yeah, just highlighting that there. The other thing, if we currently look at how many homes are listed for sale, this again is taking into account any 4-bedroom plus to keep it in line with the statistics and data I'm reporting here. There's currently 23 homes publicly listed for sale. Date of this recording being Friday, the 11th of November, 2022. And this is identical to the amount of listings that were on in the marketplace this time last month as well. So stock levels still remain consistently low. No signs of a property market under stress, which is no surprises there. If we look at the rental market continues to fire. The moment something's put up for lease, it's getting snapped up almost immediately. People are queuing up as this is the peak period here in Cherrybrook. A lot of people, with the school enrollments, October, November is really when all the buzz is about. You'll get the dribs and drabs early December, but things start to wind down, when you're looking at that later in December, Christmas, New Year period. Same can be said with sales as well. Inevitably people are going away. Not much is happening in the shape of moving. So I guess now what I want to do is make sense of all the commotion, right? So making sense of all the data, making sense of what's happening in the property market. There's been a lot of media reporting and just trying to break it down for everyone, right? Because if people will see increase in interest rates, instantly think doom and gloom. But what does this actually mean? A lot of people go, well, things are bad, interest rates have increased. Okay, let's dissect it, shall we? So I guess what we need to understand is, I don't mean to toot my own horn here, but why listen to Angelo? If you go back and look at my February 2022 property market update, and don't take my word for this, watch it. This was before there were any interest rate increases or anything of the sort. I predicted, or sorry, I shouldn't say predicted. I'm not a fortune teller or clairvoyant or anything of the sort, but just you can start to read things, okay? And I forecast that by the end of the year, we could go as high as 3 to 3.5% in interest, with inflation at as high as 10%. Now, at this point, we're still at record low interest rates, and inflation was sitting at 5.1%. Now, a lot of you that were watching the videos reached out and said, you're a lunatic, you're crazy, that's never going to happen. Whilst I'm not, we're not there yet, and it's, I dare say, and correct me if I'm wrong, a lot closer than what you thought it would be, right? And interesting to read that the RBA Governor Philip Lowe has also he's changed his forecast now to 8% inflation, right? So that's, at least I sort of took it to the top end of the spectrum. Could go more, right? But I guess, what I'm getting at here is this. Why has the property market slowed? Naturally, we all want the highest price for our property when we're selling, but it's all relative. So the thing you got to understand is, yes, you're going to sell at a loss, but you're also going to buy well, right? So you need to look at your changeover price. And I guess what it comes down to is this. The borrowing capacity has significantly increased. So if we look at the median price, right? So, we're 10% down from this time last year when you're looking at the data. And I know things change. If we look at, so we're looking at, you can't sort of look at month by month and whatnot, but look, it would be fair to say that the property market here in Cherrybrook, property values have dropped anywhere between 5 to 10%, okay? Which is sort of indicative of what's, and could very well drop more. Now, the result of that is a lot of buyers are having trouble getting their hands on finance. A lot of financial institutions, banks, are assessing people on 8 to 9% interest rates. So with the official cash rate, as you know, we had the most recent cash rate announcement. It went up by 0.25% basis points, which is currently sitting at 2.85%, and expect there to be more. Naturally, banks have already forecast that into part of their assessing criteria. So the banks have already gone to the top end, right, at 8 to 9%. So they've gone, and a lot of people saying, well, this is crazy. We're finding it very hard to get our hands on money. But the thing got to remember is, we need to protect ourselves from a recession. So, when I predicted this back in February, everything was rosy, but something had to give throughout COVID, and there were talks of the Russia-Ukraine conflict. There was so much happening. The writing was on the wall, right? Inevitably, the money that was being given as part of COVID relief was inevitably going to have to be paid back in tax. It was always going to come back, right? Nobody gives out free money. If you know of anyone that does, please let me know. I'll put my hand up. But so a whole series, I'm not going to, go down that path again. Watch a February 2022 video, and here we are, and what I predicted, forecast stands true. So what you're now seeing in the marketplace, and the reason values have corrected, up to around 10%, almost overnight, is a result of banks, tightening their lending criteria overnight. Obviously, understanding full well that the interest rates were going to climb, so we had to build that buffer. So I guess, what it comes down to is you've got buyers in the marketplace at the moment who are saying, you know what, you've got the savvy buyers that are saying, all right, I need to buy in before my pre-approval elapses, because when it elapses, I'm going to be assessed, I'm going to be assessed at, you've got sort of 3 months to your pre-approval elapses. And if I go down the path of trying to get pre-approval again, it's going to reduce my borrowing capacity. And the reduction in my borrowing capacity is not going to be able to substantiate or purchase a property in Cherrybrook, or a market where there's no real mortgage stress. So this is why you're not seeing stress sales in Cherrybrook. This is why you're seeing average days on market things sitting for a while. I'm hearing a lot of sellers unrealistic with their price expectations. That they may be, they may not be. I mean, you can't say somebody's unrealistic. It depends on their circumstances. If they don't need to sell, if somebody's out there who has the money, wants to pay it, they'll pay it. But broadly speaking, that's what's happening in the marketplace. So just to sum it up, I hope I haven't sort of gone off and confused you all, but I guess what I'm trying to summarize is this. The banks have made it incredibly difficult for people to get their hands on money. People can afford it. They just can't get there. They can't borrow. Okay. So there's not much you can do when you're struggling to borrow. Then you've got those that are sort of sitting back and saying, I'm waiting for the market to further drop, not knowing or understanding the repercussions of borrowing and lending when they go to the bank and think, wow, this house in Cherrybrook at 2.2, I can now get for 1.9. They think that will work with their budget. They go in and get assessed and go, well, hold on, we can now only lend you 1.5. And then they're in for a rude awakening, right? And they think the market's crashing, correcting. It's got nothing to do with that. It's just got, these measures are in place to stop the market from having a recession or going down, a downward spiral. So if it's one thing that stands true, and throughout all this inflation that's been taking place as a result of raw materials, as a result of groceries, fuel prices, all that, if it's one thing that stands true, it is tangible assets being a house, a home, right? Which has proven time and time again to be the most safe, the safest and secure investment, broadly speaking, of course, in times like this. So I guess what I'm getting at, I'm not really tipping recession. I mean, this is just my opinion. I'm not a financial advisor or anything of the sort. Just sort of reading the play, and I don't think I'm too bad at it. Again, give myself a rap. Yeah, look, I think, like I said, I'm not just pulling things out of the hat. You'll see that I forecast this and put my neck on the chopping block back in February 2022, and what's happening stands true. So I think I'm pretty well researched to comment in this space. Again, what the future holds is anyone's guess. Who knows? But my advice to you, if you're selling, understand that purchasers are having trouble getting their hands on finance. And as you will suffer the same fate when you're going to purchase, unless you're ridiculously cashed up, and good luck to you. But the vast majority aren't. So this is why the market's still in the standstill. So if you can afford to hold on and don't need to sell, and I think if you're looking for that miracle buyer to come along, sorry, let me just rephrase that. If you're looking for that miracle buyer to come along when you think the majority of the market's going to pay what they were paying 12 months ago, understand that you're sort of at, on average, 5 to 10% down from that. Now, if you can forecast and understand that you're going to take a 10% hit on the sale price and you can make the move, good luck to you. Do the move, and obviously understand where you're moving to and make sure it's financially viable to do so. Talk to your accountant or financial advisor. But if I guess to sort of mitigate the risk, the pain, adding unnecessary stock levels in Cherrybrook to those that actually do need to sell for whatever reason, it's probably in your best interest to hold till lending criteria is eased. So I hope that's made sense. Happy to discuss this further with you if anyone's got any questions. If you'd like a free market appraisal, whether it be rental or just to get an idea of what your home's worth, if you were thinking to sell, give me a call. Angelo Lambropoulos, Director of Lambros Realty. Happy to discuss this further with you. You can email me if there's anything that didn't make sense, or something you felt I tried to explain, but just because sometimes, start thinking different things, and, I play the video back and think, oh, gee, I should have said this. But, bottom line, I hope I've sort of got my point across there. And if there's any questions, as always, happy to help. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next month for the final property market update of the month, for the year, sorry, not the month. And yeah, thanks for watching.